What's up, guys? So what we have here are some extremely worn Air Jordan 1 highs. This is from 2001. Yeah, 2001 Royal Blues. These Royal Blues were actually a limited release. I can show you behind the tongue here. You can see that this is pair 31,801 of 50,000. So obviously they only made 50,000 pairs, which actually is quite a bit, but it's not like a GR. And these are very, 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 very worn. Look at these bottoms. Got a hole in the strobel. We have so these two colors are vulcanized together, and you can basically see the first color and the second color, the separation between the two. I mean, dang. Oh, and then here we have the air unit, which is surrounded by polyurethane. Okay, and that's why that's got a lot of crumble going on there because of the polyurethane. Probably should have worn gloves for this. It's not too late. You can see that a lot of the paint is scratched off, chipped off. A lot of it still remains though. This release had some pretty good leather. It feels pretty soft. You can see how deformed we are here too. I mean, just super deformed. So what we are going to need to do with these is a deep clean, a reshape. I haven't even looked at the collar lining. Collar lining actually looks good. Yeah, I don't see any tears in here. Very cool. We got one insole. Is this even the factory insole? Well, whatever it is, we can't reuse it anymore. I mean, I guess it is, but this thing is done. So we'll get new insoles in there, new laces. Basically, we're going to be doing a full overhaul. We're going to be deep cleaning. We're going to be reshaping. We're going to be repainting, and we're going to be resoling. So this is going to be a Theseus's ship type of shoe, I guess. By the time we're done, this is in the interest of preserving sneaker history. If you look at this shoe right now on eBay, it's affordable. Even this one from 2001. Prices aren't very high. But the thing is that my belief is that if we don't try to restore shoes when they're in this condition, the shoes that are important to us, then one day they may be forgotten if somebody's not going to be trying to restore them. So this really is for the love of the game, because for all the work that I'm going to put into this, I don't think that I'm going to get the amount back in labor hours once I sell these, but at least they'll be back on the streets, back on somebody's feet. So first thing I want to do is take some photos, some before photos in a different studio, and then come back, remove this outsole. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove these outsoles. What I like to do to remove outsoles is a small hook tool. This hook tool is something that you can get from Harbor Freight, or you can get online. I think they're typically sold as like dentist pick tools. They might even be called pick tools. But sometimes you'll find them in like hardware sections or hobbyist sections. Anyway, I just like this little hook because it does a great job in pulling out the thread. So I find where the thread's starting to end, it's about there. So that's where I start pulling. Typically, it would come out, but oh, here we go. I think. Not sure. I'm not sure why it's not coming out. This glue that they use here, maybe. I'm going to cut all the ends. I found 3, should have found 4, but let's see if that helped at all. Yes. All right. If you're familiar with how outsoles are stitched on, then you just go in the opposite way that you normally do. Man, I gotta tell you, these feel like they're fused in. I think it's the glue that they use on the upper. Trying to get past that, it's actually a challenge. I prefer doing this over, you'll see some people on YouTube videos will open up the cup sole and cut inside. Okay, I prefer this because it's more gentle on the outsole. There's no risk of destroying the outsole with a razor cut. You can do that if you want, though. I mean, not destroy it, but you can just cut from the inside. But I don't think you're saving yourself that much time anyway. If you're curious how to sew an outsole on with a hand awl, or excuse me, with a sewing awl, you can watch this video here where I give a demonstration. If you're at all interested in doing it with a machine, I have a cobbler sewing machine, hand crank, that I purchased off of Amazon. And I gave a full demonstration of it on this video here. I don't think that this thread is cotton, but it's kind of acting like cotton. I would assume nylon or polyester, something synthetic that would last longer and is stronger, but I mean, I know that's what they use now. I don't know, in 2001 they wanted to use a different material thread. Though I will say this thread has definitely posed a bigger challenge. And this is definitely the first 2001 Jordan 1 I've ever worked on. Try to think back to dunks. I think I worked on a 2002 dunk. That was probably the best leather that I have ever encountered on a Nike shoe. It was navy blue, so it's actually not my favorite color, but the leather was pretty much just like the leather on the Buck SB Dunk Lows. Okay. And that to me is the nicest leather that I have ever handled on a Nike SB Dunk. And then when I got this one in hand, this 2002 Dunk, just regular Dunk, navy blue, it was the same type of leather, just super soft, really nice. This leather on this royal blue is nice, but it's not as nice as those are nice, thick, soft pieces of leather. Ow! Dang, I just stabbed myself with the hook tool. It poked. I wouldn't say stabbed, but still. So it is tough right here. Here's a dough cutter I like to use for applications like this, where I want to remove a bunch of old polyurethane off of a strobel. Just to me a little bit of a faster way to do it. Any straight edge will do though. And if you don't have a straight edge, you could just pick it off yourself. Understand though that there's glue mixed in with this polyurethane, so it's going to be sticky. Here is what was the air unit. Come on, man, focus. There's something right in front of you, bro. Focus, thank you. There we go. That was the air unit. Looks kind of like a hornet's nest now. Man, just having a real hard time focusing. There we go. And this is trash. Just gonna throw it out. I'll do the other one off camera. Okay, so this is a shoe last. This is from, I think it's called District Leather Company. But you can use any shoe last that claims to be a Jordan shoe last. The reason why I'm using a shoe last here is Reshaping. The reshaping that this needs is pretty advanced. You build a shoe on a shoe last when you make the shoe. Okay, so the shoe last is the shape of the shoe. So what we're gonna do is get that shape back the best we can. This is way past, you know, whatever the trick with the iron. This is way past that. So you can see how this is built. I'm going to bring it over to my last stand and snap it in place, and then you'll see it fill out the shoe better. Just like this one. They're snapped into place, and first thing I think I want to do before I even start washing it is start on this reshaping just lightly. So I'm just going to kind of take my time and start the process of reshaping the shoe. Now I just want to be clear, a lot of these creases, you will still see the crease mark until we paint over it, and if we can get the paint over it, then that'll work. But basically these crease marks will always be like weak points, but we can still get it to that it has a much better shape and it won't be quite as creased at those points. You do have to temper your expectations with decreasing. It's not going to be a brand new shoe again. But it is going to be better than it was, especially this one. just want to remind her what her shape used to be. Alright, this is Castile soap in cold water. Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Okay? If you want to know why, here's 2 videos you can check out where I prove that basically sneaker cleaner is nothing but Castile soap. Overpriced Castile soap with a different name. This is a medium bristle brush. Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. The inside of the shoe is actually in very good condition. I think maybe because of the materials or what have you, but it's really not a whole lot for me to do inside here. I'll do a little bit before I put the new insoles in, but right now I'm just going to focus on the outside. Now, one thing I do want to be careful about is the swoosh. This swoosh is not leather, it's not suede. It's cracking, number one, and it's definitely a synthetic material, maybe that Durabuck that they use. So I'm not going to get it too wet. I am going to clean it a little bit, but I'm not going to go crazy on it. One thing that I do know is that the Royal Blues that came after this, they used leather swooshes. This one is not leather. It cracks in that unnatural way, and you can see the interfacing underneath. Jordan Brand loved their Durabuck though, man. Nike as a whole loved the Durabuck. The 2000s, they put it on everything. This is saddle soap. This is what we're going to use to hope and revive this leather a little bit. This is used for boots and dress shoes and saddles. You know, like real leather products. This shoe, or these shoes that we know and love, there's a lot of polyurethane coating over the leather, and then there's paint. So again, we have to temper our expectations, but this is definitely better than doing nothing, and there's no harm in doing it anyway. Got it on the swoosh a little bit. Forgot for a second there. This is really just for the leather. So I know I got a little bit on the bottom of the tongue. I don't know how they can really brush vigorously and miss that. I don't think it's not going to do any damage though. It's fine, it'll wipe off. Alright, now I'm going to let this stuff air dry, and whatever residue's left on the leather, I'm going to polish into it. Okay, I'm not going to wipe it off. Gonna let this dry for quite a while. Here's a buffing cloth from Tandy. It's felt on the inside. Just doing some buffing here. there's still some residue of the saddle soap, and that's okay. Just use that to buff with. Alright. Okay, the best time to put neat's foot oil on. Here, let me close this. Neat's foot oil. Okay, which is more of a preservative and a softener than it is a cleaner. We're gonna try to rehydrate this leather the best we can with this. Best time to put this on is now, when the leather is not wet but not completely dry. I would say less is more. You're just gonna have to wipe off the excess anyway, so just put a little bit on a microfiber towel and work that little bit in. A little bit goes a long way. There's just a little dab. I can spread this pretty much on half the shoe easily. Now normally when I'm doing a deep clean, I'm just doing Castile soap. These last two steps I did, the saddle soap and this, are really to try to help reshape the shoe, mostly. You know, the leather is gonna look better for sure, but it's not like earth-shatteringly better than it would have been otherwise. But the hydration is really what I'm after here, to really get this vamp, especially and toe box, into a shape where I can start doing this again and it actually makes a difference. By the way, I'm gonna leave these shoes in this last pretty much this entire process. Pretty much this entire restoration to really retrain the materials to get back into shape. Alright, I'm just gonna let these sit overnight and learn how to get in shape. Okay, it is the next day and it's time to prep for painting. Now I'm not doing a full-on repaint. We're just touching up some areas. This is 800 grit. And I'm just going to sand around a little bit of the areas that I'll be touching up. Put that there. You don't have to go crazy on a beat pair of shoes like these because a lot of that factory finish is gone. That's what you're sanding off anyway. But you're trying to sand off a little bit more around so it looks a little bit more blended once it's actually in there. We got a lot of gouges here in the back. We are going to fill these a little before we paint. I'm not going crazy with the sanding, okay? This isn't a custom repaint, full repaint. This is just touching up. A nice big gouge there. I don't know if I'm really going to be able to do much with that. I mean, I think you're still going to be able to tell that there was something going on there. But here's a good lesson in what this leather actually is. Okay? What you're looking at here is actually the leather. Okay? What peels off and gets gouged off is the polyurethane covering of that leather. That's really what we see with our eyes and what we're treating is this polyurethane, which is also painted. So we're looking at acrylic paint as well. You can absolutely use Angelus paintable filler, and I have in the past, and it's great. I actually just don't have any right now. Mod Podge is fine. Mod Podge. Okay, it'll fill, it's paintable, and it's also not going to be like hard as a rock. It's going to be softish. There's some smaller ones here. It's not really that deep. I just went over the deeper ones. The ones that aren't as deep. This isn't going to do much for. Alright, now I'm just going to let this stuff dry, sand it down, and then paint. In the meantime, I can start color matching here to the best of my ability. When I color match, I only use the primary colors that Angelus provides, white and black. Unless it's something special like a neon or whatever, glitter, stuff like that. Otherwise, to get a little, no matter what, I'm gonna need a little more than that, yeah. I wanna see what blue straight out of the bottle looks like and see what I need to add. I have a feeling it's gonna be red that I'm gonna need to add right off the bat. I'm gonna add just a touch of red. Just a tiny, tiny little dropsy. Alright, I had to take a little mental break because the color match was not working, and sometimes if you step away, do something else, and then come back, then you can see it differently. And I got it this time. What was that? Just a little bit of duller in with all my paint mixes. That powdery part, because that's how it dries. It's just like the nature of the duller. Once it comes in contact with the paint, it will liquefy. So don't worry about it too much. Not sure how I got red on this. I mean, I know how it could have happened. It just didn't see it happen. Just a little Castile soap on the tongue. The tongue is, I think it's nylon. Comes off very easy. Now for this, I think I'm just gonna have to do a little sanding and painting. Sucks when you make something worse. This is kind of a big reveal here because this will be the first time that we see the shoe out of the last since this whole project began. It's been in these last for quite a few days. So whatever shape it's going to be, it's going to be. But we're going to take a look. Quite a difference. Nothing in there. Quite a difference. Pretty good. Alright, now it's time to get these suckers sold.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.